What's up, everyone? Welcome to today's video. Welcome to the GamerDad channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. The Division 2 is an interesting game. It's a game that I think is some sort of a phenomenon overall. Now that the developers or Ubisoft has, in a sense, confirmed that they have no plans for Division 3, I think it's time for me to maybe change my focus and look at, say, why I think this is something that they've decided that they were going to conclude. Sure, they have Heartland coming, but that's slightly a different game from what it is that we've seen and heard of. But the Division 2 as a whole, even though we in the community will make fun of this game and dog on the game, it seems to have a unique proposition that continues to bring players back. You see, I saw a few comments just the other day, talking about people still play this game. Somebody made a snide remark saying the recycled vision or something of that nature. But there is something unique about this game that, in my opinion, is so appealing for a lot of gamers that they find themselves coming back to the game from time to time and wanting to dial in and catch up. In case you're watching this video and you've been gone from the game for a while, you were maybe thinking of coming back, I think you can actually jump in and maybe pick up from where you started if you have, say, the support system in place. Because the Division 2 is a heavily, I would say, leaning community game. So if you want to dial into a clan, there's the LCN clan. There are other clans out there, but I'm shouting out the LCN clan because that's the clan I'm a part of. I'll leave a link to the Discord server in the community. If you want someone to help you, farm, get gear, if you want people to maybe run the DZ with you or maybe get some, collectibles you may be missing, these are things that you can pretty much receive help for. But something really interesting kind of showed up on my feed, and I want to say shout out to Mark of Blades. You see, he's taken the new, gear set and has been able to go ahead and make some new builds with them. And one of these builds is kind of reminiscent of some of the stuff that we had in the Division 1. And I'm sure you would be happy to check out this video. So by the way, go check on his Twitter page and go check out this build video. But I was watching him do the one-tap build with, this rifle and using the new gear that the developers basically have put out. And I started laughing, and I'm like, you do know that this is the kind of thing that make people go ahead and fire up their division and start farming. Because believe it or not, farming is a part of the Division game. I mean, not just a part of the game, but a core part of the Division game. From the Division 1, when we didn't have a plethora of gear, we always just basically farmed. Even though we were playing the same missions, even if we were in the dark zone, even if we were doing activities, farming was at the end of it, where you actually wanted to go ahead and get new items. And yes, these items, even though they nerfed them and buffed them and they tweaked them all over the place, they do, for the most part, are consequential to the entirety of the game. And I think this consequential nature is what continues to bring players back, because they don't necessarily always want to miss out on everything. Sure, some things, they probably sell them as FOMO. Oh yeah, we're doing this really cool stuff. You definitely need to come get it. You know what I mean? But there's also that fear of missing out that may hit some players. But at the end of the day, it's nice for you to be able to get your hands on some of these items, even if you're just going to stash them as a trophy. One of them was, the Diamondback. The Diamondback was one of those things where they made it look so cool. And I told people that, man, I don't necessarily think this gun is going to be something we use on the long term. And, behold, that was the case, because the weapon did not have, that thing that a lot of players like about your rifles and so on and so forth. But it's a nice trophy to have, it's a nice trophy to hold. Now the Ninja Bike has been, pretty much revealed and unveiled in this season, and I'm certain a lot of people are trying to get their hands on it as well. So these propositions make the Division unique. Now, why am I even talking about this? Like, yeah, we kind of knew this. Yes, we did. But when you actually weigh and consider other video games that have come to the market since the Division's lifespan, many of them have dropped off like flies because they did not necessarily have this particular mechanic built into their game. In fact, some of them are still coming on the market. One of them is Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. This is going to be a shooter. The developers are talking about the game having RPG elements. The developers are even talking about the game having stats and so on and so forth that is attached to your weapon and to your gear. But someone like me, I'm taking a look at all of these so-called stats and these elements and wondering, are these consequential? Look at the menu screen for this game. Yeah, you see some stats and you see some elements in the game, but as a Division agent, when you jump into this game, how much are you going to be able to get out of it? How consequential is the gear game going to be when you compare it to the AI, when you compare it to the open world, when you compare it to, the way it gives you buffs or maybe the way it gives debuffs and so on and so forth? Does it play like the Division where if you use an item, it's going to affect your team's overall DPS? all of these things that we consider and enjoy in the Division really do make the game quite unique. And I think this is one of the reasons, even though many Division agents might go out and play some other games, they don't necessarily have this unique aspect in a plethora of video games, so they find themselves coming back. Because I know I can go into my team, I can use Survivalist, and I can use my Chem Launcher, which is my signature build, by the way, if you guys don't know, and my whole team is going to be shredding like crazy. Somebody can come in and they can use Future Initiative. They can heal the whole team, and we will still be alive and dealing a lot of DPS, which Future Initiative, in my opinion, is one of the better gear sets. And according to some of the inside information from some of my clan members, like Red, they've told me that it's pretty much the best gear set in the game. Red, you're still yet to explain to me how this is the case. I know it's great, but I'm going to take you to task on that. I need to know the nuances, why you think it's the best DPS gear set pretty much, or one of the best anyways, in the game. But I wanted to make this video to talk about this particular area of the game, because I see it continue to manifest itself. Like, players leave and players come back, and we're trying to narrow down exactly what it is that could be making players come back. And I think this might be it for the most part. This might be at least a core reason that players find themselves returning to this game, because it does have these elements, and many of these other games that have been coming out lately, they don't have those elements, or they're missing out on finding a way to implement these elements in an organic way, whereas the Division has already nailed down this formula for the most part. Thanks for watching the video. Thank you so much for your time and audience. Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section. Like I said, if you're returning to the game and you need, say, a clan or a bunch of folk that are happy to run things, for you and help you to kind of navigate through, catching up to the game, there are clans everywhere, but I'll shout out the LCN clan. That's a clan I'm a member of, and I'll leave a link to the Discord server. Go in there, join, and basically just, look into the channels and say, hey man, I need help with getting hunter masks or whatever it is you want to do. And there'll be somebody that'll be happy to help you and walk through all of those different missions with you. Thanks for watching. Peace out.